Hi everyone, welcome to Live with Celeste. I've been in hiatus for actually a few months now, and now I'm coming back. We're just gotten too busy with life and family, and so now we're back, and I'm excited to have you all with me today. We're going to have a good friend of mine, March Peñalas, as a guest. Um, she is a force to be reckoned with, has gone through a lot in her life personally, and now she's thriving and really making waves in the real estate industry. And so I wanted you give me a round of applause, like virtual applause, to Miss March Peñalosa. Here she is. Hey, March,
Thank
how are
you, thank
you?
you. I'm great. Thank you for that. Applause, applause, applause. Parang narinig yun. I
Virtual
think I
applause,
heard
I
it.
say virtual
I've heard
applause.
it.
You heard
Thank
it, you
you
heard it.
for
Yeah,
having
yeah.
me here.
Oh, yeah, great, great, great. So just a brief like story on how we met. We actually met at the Squad Up Summit,
God of
right?
Summit,
We met at
yes.
Squad Up Summit, and that was in April. Was it in April?
April, March,
Yeah, it
April,
was in
yes.
April. We didn't really meet like formally. You were just walking past me, and I kind of have the sense of I think you're Filipina and I'm Filipina. You know
I
how
know.
how Filipinos are when they see someone that resembles kind of like Filipina vibe, maybe like are you Pinoy or
Ayun,
whatever. So I
Pinoy.
think so I think that's what I did with you. I was like, hey, and then you did the same thing, and so we just exchanged like a blink. So for anyone who doesn't know what blink is, it's kind of like a virtual calling card. We exchanged that and said pleasantries like hi, hello, and then we went on our separate ways, right? So that's the very brief kind of like introduction that we
It was
had.
hard to get to know each other then. There's like thousands, 2,000 people.
Exactly.
It
Yeah.
was. But
Yeah.
for our paths to cross that moment is really
Mhm.
a great thing for me.
Yeah, I don't think there are coincidences. I think things happen for a reason, and yeah, and I'm glad that happened. So, to anyone who doesn't know what do you call that? What Squad Up Summit is? It's kind of like how do you explain Squad Up Summit
It's
in like in a few words?
It's an event wherein all the investors all over the US, investors or any creative finance people, lenders, anyone who wants to elevate in real estate and in business and in financing, all gather and just meet up and learn. And that's when we decided to be part of Owners Club. So not everyone, 2,000 people signed up for Owners Club because it's not a cheap place to cheap thing to join, but we both decided to work together and be part of Owners Club. Owners Club is a group of people, about 563 of us, I think. That's the number so
Yeah,
far that
yeah,
I know,
I think
that you
so.
know work together to buy real estate and buy businesses together. So we
Mhm.
do own, Celeste and I own one business together with Pace Morby and the whole group. It's
Yeah, yeah.
creative listing.
Mhm.
So
Exactly, exactly. So I've joined. So Sub Two is a community wherein you're not a part of Sub Two, are you? Are you? Or you
we
are?
were actually,
You
we
are.
are actually, my
Okay.
business partner Louis. I wasn't
Oh
active.
yeah,
He
yeah,
was the
Louis.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I met Louis. So I think Owners Club, for those people who doesn't know, Owners Club is kind of like another tier of the mentorship that we have. Okay, you can see my nails. One is missing.
I don't have any.
Yeah, I stick my nails in there. So anyway, we're veering off. So yeah, so we met there, squad up again. Like everything else, you go to school if you want to study medicine or whatever. You go to school, 4 year school and stuff. With real estate, there's not really like school that you have to go into, and there's so many facets. There's so many avenues to go into real estate, and so owners club is kind of like another course that we an advanced course, let's say, for realtor for real estate investors, and we're kind of like invested in ourselves because we want to be expert on whatever field that we're going into. In my end, it's going to be assisted living facilities and transitional housing, and on your part, you're already doing domestic transitional housing, right,
No houses,
with
yes.
your, yeah. And so that's another tier that you want to do, and again, we want to elevate, and I think we want to partner in we want to partner on some deals too with regards to
Yes.
assisted living and transitional
Assisted
housing.
living.
So yeah, so in like 60 seconds, tell us tell us like a background, how you started real estate, who March is in the real estate field.
All right. I started as a realtor, but I wasn't able. I was not a rock star realtor because I was living in a very abusive home. So I'm an overcomer of domestic violence. And when I left, I signed off everything, the house, the cars. So I was homeless, and the only place I found was a basement, one room, my daughter and I, one bed, my son in the couch, and that's the only place I can afford at that time. And so that's when the Lord spoke to me like, someday you will do the same. You will buy homes and you will give opportunities for domestic violence survivors. At that time, it was just domestic violence survivors. Little did I know that a lot of people need help too, right? And in
Mhm.
any other, like elderly or people who are low income or who aged out of foster care. There's so many groups of people who needs housing like I did. And so
Mhm.
that's how I started, buying the first home, and we turned it into a co-living, and then used that to leverage a second home. And then I took a HELOC on the first home to buy a third house, 4 and 5. So right now I'm into 5 homes. Two of them are co-living, the other three are long-term rentals. And I'm having a hard time, like, oh, how can I get more? I cannot always leverage my own credit, right? Because
Mhm.
there's only a ceiling.
There's a
And I'm like,
threshold. Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a threshold. I cannot
Mhm.
buy any more. That lenders would say, you're over leveraged. So creative financing is my thing, and signed up for Owners Club. That's
Perfect. So
where we met.
let's
Yes.
go back to that living in a one bedroom, basically homeless prior to now having 5 units, right? 5 properties. So, how long did it take you from that homelessness into that? Because some people might think, oh, you were
Oh
so,
no.
you did it in like one snap and stuff like that. So people,
Right.
I want to take them to the lowest of the low
Sure.
into like how you are right now, and having like a beautiful background, and you have a beautiful background, you have a beautiful house and all that. So how long did it take you from like virtually having nothing to now
It
5 properties?
was actually 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 2021. Actually, it took me 5 years
five
to
years
really
oh,
buy. But I could have bought earlier, but at that time my ex-husband had me in the I quit claim did the house,
mm-hmm,
but the loan is still on me.
mm-hmm,
So I cannot buy because I have a big house in my name. I had
mm-hmm,
to take him to court
mm-hmm,
to take me out of the, or else he will go to jail if he doesn't, right? So
mm-hmm,
it took a lot of years fighting over him. It could have been easier. It could
mm-hmm,
have been probably in 2 or 3 years time,
mm-hmm,
but because there's like legal matters, we're going to court for 5 years in abuse, for
mm-hmm,
beating me up, and so many other stuff. We have 5 cases all in all. So it took me 5 years.
mm-hmm.
And after the first property, it took me a year and a half to buy the second, and then just 6 months to buy the third. So becomes easier. The first one was the hardest for me.
Yeah. Typically the first one is really the hardest because again, you're coming in, you don't really know as much, and then you buy one and it was like, oh, this is how it happened, and then you buy another, and so I believe in real estate we kind of like become problem solvers.
Yes.
We go into it not really knowing a lot, and then we come out of it knowing even more, and so we're able to just do it over and over again. And like what you mentioned, when we are on a time wherein we have a lot of issues going on within ourselves or our family, we only think that okay, I'm the only one going through this, and this is the only thing that's
Yes.
happening. And then once you overcome that, then you come to realize, oh my gosh, there's so much other people that are needing help there, right? So you right now, it's you're housing domestic violence survivors, right? Giving them
Yes.
opportunities, giving them housing, more than just housing. Is just you're giving them kind of like life skills, right? Which is essential.
And
And
we
on
we
my
offer
end,
services too.
yeah,
Services.
and services too. So on my end, since I'm aligned with a nonprofit, we do the same exact thing. And aside from the assisted living facility memory care that we have, we're also doing personally is HL foster youth, and um, that's another avenue that I feel very deeply, because again, um, they need guidance more so than just housing. They need guidance. So and I like that when you mentioned the domestic violence and you offer services, like this is something that we really definitely align with. And so right now you mentioned you have multiple properties, and you have a partner, and that partner, you share a business with that partner, like a
Yes.
wholesaling team.
A
Okay.
wholesaling company. Yes.
Okay, so wholesaling, for those viewers who doesn't know what that is, what is wholesaling? Just like a
Oh,
quick 30-second.
quick 30 seconds. Well, we run PPCs, pay per click, like advertisement of like anybody who needs help selling their house because it's gonna go into foreclosure or someone died and the wife doesn't have a job. You're gonna get you're gonna lose the house either way, or distressed property. They call us and say, hey, we want to sell, and then we get the property at a lower price so we can actually fix and flip it or give it to another investor like Celeste. Like, Celeste, you want this? You can buy this for this. We're just going to make a little extra money. It's not really a
Mhm.
lot. You make about
Yeah,
10, 5, 8,000, 12,000, 20,000.
depending on
That's
the
it.
deal.
You
Hmm.
need to give a bigger portion for the investor so that there's enough meat on the bone so they will buy it and make use of the property. It makes sense. The number will make sense. So that's what wholesaling is.
All right, perfect. So with that just one property, a lot of people can benefit from it. Obviously, the
Yes.
seller and then the wholesaler and whoever buys that property. If you're going to fix and flip it,
It's
you're
a
going to
win-win.
give jobs to those contractors, those, those other services, plumbing, electrician, and stuff. So real estate is not just, I buy and sell houses and that's the end of it. You actually help a lot of people along the way. And so that's sometimes, when they say, oh, real estate, you don't really get that um good rap because, okay, you buy, you sell, you whatever, you don't care, but really we do.
They
Because
don't know you're changing
yeah.
people's lives and you're saving them, because if a person is going into foreclosure, the bank will get this and the bank will not give them a single cent.
Mm-hmm,
But if we come in and say, hey, we're going to give you $30,000 to walk away, and I'll pay 6 months of your rent in an
mm-hmm,
apartment, then your credit score will be intact. You can still work and
mm-hmm,
someday recuperate a day or a year or two or three, buy another house. So
mm-hmm.
it's a win-win. They
Exactly.
win, they walk away with money, your investor wins, and it's good for
Yeah,
everybody.
it's good because not a lot of wholesalers are like that. Not a lot of wholesalers really think, about the seller's, situation. They want to get the property, they see the numbers, and that's it. And I like that. I like to work with wholesalers that has the interest of the sellers as well as, profit, because again, I think whatever you put out there, you get karma.
Ah, comes back to
you
you
know,
a thousandfold.
exactly, exactly. So whatever you put out there, you definitely get it back, one form or another. And so yeah, that's one thing that yeah, I like to work with wholesalers like that. So if you're a wholesaler and you only care about the numbers and you don't really care about something else, don't bother calling me because
Yes, yes.
I probably won't. But yeah, so let's go back to what your plan is now. For so you're a realtor, you have a wholesaling business and that's going well. Obviously you want to scale more on that, so what's the next plan for March?
Well, next plan, I've already spoke with two owners club members who resonated. Our mission and vision resonated with them, and one of them is actually a domestic violence survivor as well. And they
Mhm.
happen to be good in capital raising. So I had a meeting with them, I think last week, and say, so March, how many do you need? What do you think? 10 properties? Oh, no, 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 no. Let's start with one. Because we are
Go big or go home.
I know we are rubbing elbows with people who really got money, who can raise capital like that.
Mhm,
I'm not there yet, but for me, I'm like, wait. Let's start with one, and when that's operational, we'll start with another and another. So the very first one will be in Maryland, and then the second one will be in Virginia. Or
mhm.
Maryland has a lot of need for real. It's a bigger need for some reason, and so that's where we are now. So my business is, I have to take care of the today money too. So the today
Yes.
money is, as a realtor, I buy and sell houses for people who want to sell, who want people to buy, and I move all my clients for free. So that's my tagline. You buy or
Ah,
sell with me, I move you for free. Yeah, sometimes it's two
ah.
thousand four
So
hundred,
you
three
pay for
thousand
the
dollars
moving costs and
I
all that.
pay, and it's
Okay.
a lot. You know how moving costs is, it's a lot.
Oh yeah.
And I just paid one this morning. I told my TC, like, oh, that's 2,400. And then
I
another one.
know.
Yeah, so if you make $10,000, one fourth of that's already for moving. So I'm a very giving realtor, because I think in real estate and in any business, it's about relationship. It's about
Mm-hmm,
service. So if
mm-hmm,
you're not greedy, if you don't, I don't look at people as numbers. Like they walk in like, oh, dollar sign, dollar sign. No, for me, I look at what they need. And I
mm-hmm,
learned that, oh, the hardest part for them is the moving part. So, like, you know what? Let me take care of that. So I
mm-hmm,
do that. And another, that's my today money. And Another today money is the wholesaling business, but really the co-living spaces for domestic violence people, survivors, for aged out, youth of age
Mm-hmm.
out of
Also youth.
foster care, yes, or elderly people, or people with low income making 30 to 70,000. They really cannot afford a one bedroom one bath. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost $2,000 here for a one bedroom one bath in Manassas.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy without utilities. And so that's really what I want to do, and invite people, especially our Filipino community. Celeste, there's a lot of Filipinos here who have the money. They just don't know where to start, where to put
Just
the
a
money.
reminder, we have a Filipino Subdue Zoom, the first one,
Yes.
going to be today at 4 p.m. And so I think
Yes.
I put
Looking
out the
forward.
the Zoom link in there. So any of you Filipinos out there has a Filipino descent, or like even a drop of Filipino
One fourth,
blood.
one tenth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have a Filipino sub two. You can be an owners club sub two Gator,
See,
TTTC, or Angel or Jerry Norton's um, mentorships or groups. Feel free to join us. It's searchable, our group in Facebook, so it's just
Filipino
Filipino
sub
Sub Two.
two.
And yeah, feel free to come in and join. And it's time for us to join forces and really, have them,
Yes.
give them a glimpse of how being the kapwa, and being really the
Bayanihan
resiliency and bayanihan,
spirit.
all goes hand in hand in that we're not just numbers, we're into really like serving,
Serving.
whatever it is, we're concentrating right now. So a lot of us are caregivers, nurses, and we really want to put that Filipino culture back into whatever we're doing in real estate. So what what location are you right now? Where are you based at?
I'm based in DC, Maryland, Virginia.
DC, Maryland, Virginia. And what markets are you looking for with regards to those transitional housing that you mentioned?
First, really, is Maryland. We have a big need in Maryland.
Okay, Maryland area.
Numbers of domestic violence survivors there who need homes. They're
Mm,
also in Virginia too. But
okay.
yeah, we'll start with Maryland, and then we'll just partner with other people who want to be part owner of that. They can be a limited partner, a general partner, equity
Mhm,
partner in the homes, but we will run it. And the good thing about that, Celeste, is we have a domestic violence nonprofit already. And
mhm.
we got funding last year from Violence Against Women and
Nice.
DHS. So the
Hmm. Hmm.
funding will pay for their rent, 70%
Hmm.
of their rent. So if
Yeah.
I'm a domestic violence survivor, if the rent is $1,000, if I think like you only need to pay 300, I would have the courage to leave my abuser because I
Mhm.
can work at McDonald's and make 300 a month, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's really we only need the homes actually, and there's a
Mhm.
list. We already have a list of women waiting.
Yeah,
So
so I have to get in touch with you with that one because I'm working on my nonprofit for
oh,
my nonprofit for the
oh my
HR
God,
foster youth. I already got
that
my
is
got
beautiful.
everything going, and I'm doing my the paperwork. And so and I have identified a few grant giving bodies in here, so I just have to tailor what it is, the grants towards to what I want. And because again, I want to give life skills to those individuals. And so again, housing is huge, but what's housing if you cannot, if you cannot find a job or do something with your skills and stuff. So I just I want to make sure that they have that, so when they come out of the housing that we provided, they'll be able to stand on their own 2 feet and stuff. And I want to
That's
work from within. I want to
yeah.
really like um I think you're doing it on your thing already. I'm actually in so to anyone watching out there, I'm looking for mentors for my HL foster youth. If you're a foster kid before and now you're doing something else and you're thriving, I want you to give a speech or into the group, just so they know that hey, this is not the end. I have
Unless I do
yeah.
have someone who is a foster home. She aged out of that, and she was transferred from many places and went through a lot of how the foster homes sometimes are not really a very conducive place to live.
Mhm.
There's abuse there, and so she actually mentors. I can connect you with her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Because that's something that I want them to have, is the outlook that this is not the end. This is just the beginning, and you have so many years ahead of you that you can really thrive and be someone. All right. So let me just see. So any other? advice that you want to give to
Uh,
um, new
I want
new
to,
entrepreneurs?
well, first, I want to piggyback on what you said, like
Okay.
with age out foster care people
Mhm.
or domestic violence or anyone, low income people. Like what you said, if they see that we are a success story, you have a heart for the kids who've aged out of foster care because you have a personal experience with that, and
Mhm.
me, a survivor. So we have the heart for them, but if they see us telling our story and looking at us like, oh, I want to be like them, we're
Mhm.
telling them that, hey, your story now, what happening to you now, whatever you experience, does not define who you are. You can
Mhm.
literally rewrite your story. You For
Exactly.
me, I held on to the Lord and say, Lord, where do you want me to go? I'll go. What do you want me to do? I'll do. Who do you want
Mhm.
me to work? I'll work with them.
Mhm.
Write my story. So this chapter of my life, I'm 54 years old. I'm not young anymore, but I
Of
want
course.
my life I want my life to really serve, the purpose what that God has placed in my life. I want him to rewrite it, and I'll just follow. I just let me know and hear you, and give me the heart to obey. That was my prayer. So for those who wanted to start in real estate, what I'm saying is, for me, I started with a paper, blank paper. I write, you know on one side is my strength and my weaknesses. I took
Mhm.
inventory of what I already have,
Mhm.
and then from the things that I already have, I start from there, right?
Mhm.
If you have connections, if you know someone, write everybody you know in real estate who are kind, good people who might be willing to teach or guide you. You have Celeste, you have me, you have certain people that you can reach out to and say, hey,
Mhm.
I know some years ago you were not doing this, and you didn't know much. Can you teach me? And so, this community is really a community of givers.
Mhm.
And just follow us, log into the Zooms that Celeste is doing, connect with the Filipino sub 2 or anyone else who are in real estate, and learn. But learning from YouTube is really not enough. I did a lot of YouTube watching, and you just get too much information, right?
Yeah,
For
that
me,
could be a start. But if you really want to
it's
do
a start.
something, you want to go to that person that you want
That
to be
person.
like, and then do what they do. Connection, I think,
Exactly.
is very important. Me, I was like, so in the beginning, I didn't want to connect with people because I thought I didn't know as much. But I already had properties prior to going into Subdue. It's just the
Yeah.
mindset thing. If you doubt yourself, then you're gonna you're gonna show people that you are a doubtful person. But once
Yes.
you believe in yourself and just do it. And one more thing is, don't be discouraged if you go and reach out to someone and they dismiss you and they think that you're something like that. It's not because of who you are, it's because of who they are. So don't be discouraged when you reach out to someone and they don't even acknowledge you. Move on and look for
Move
another,
on.
because
You
there's
know what I
always.
what I there's a saying that I heard before from someone in real estate too, mentor. And she said, if you hang around the barber shop long enough, eventually you'll get a haircut, right? Just hang around.
Yeah,
Hang
yeah.
around. And there was a time, you know how I learned wholesaling? I volunteered to be their admin. I
Mm,
volunteered to do the work, the RPR, knowing the I created the executive summary. I did the reports. I went into looking at the property and seeing how much. So I created this, and I did the executive summary. I presented. They sent it to the investors.
mhm.
I was working for 2 freaking years for free.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's another avenue. If you don't have the money but you have the time to learn everything, just volunteer, like because what you're gonna learn doing it firsthand is tremendous, and what the advantage of it. So you don't have money to enroll into mentorships. Why not go to
Yes,
someone who already enrolled into mentorship, but they need a hand, right? They need
yes,
someone to call, they need someone to write down something, they need you to drive from here to there, and that's all you have. You didn't have the money, but you have time, and you have so there you gain experience, and actually you're being mentored by not paying anything,
Yes.
one way or one way or another, because
That's how it started.
yeah, that's
Trading.
how it really starts. So just yeah, keep doing it, being resilient, and just dismissing all the negative stuff that comes your way. I think it's a big thing, because a lot of people, when they get discouraged, there's like, oh, they feel worthless and stuff, and I just want just take that away and just move on. It's just
Yeah.
that's what I learned into in this space. Is just don't sweat the small stuff. I mean, move on, find something else, and yeah, it's gonna do tremendous on your health, in your mental health
Yes.
and your emotional health, if you just dismiss it and move on.
And for me, the prayer that really saved me, this is going to speak to the domestic violence
Hmm.
survivors, or those who are still in that situation, or anyone who's going through tremendous um, challenges, or feeling that they're very, very poor. There's no opportunity. For me, when I went back, the prayer that really saved me was like, I went home to God that night. I just crying out to the Father. I said, Lord, Father, please remind me again of who I am in your eyes, because I'm forgetting.
Hmm.
I'm forgetting that you created me with all this ability and talent, that I'm beautiful, that I'm strong, that I'm capable, that I have so much potential. I'm forgetting because, when someone abuse you, you tend to believe the
Hmm.
way they treat you, that you are really worthless. And that was a prayer that saved me. And also, still also in the business industry, sometimes if we forget that, dude, God has given us everything we need to be successful in this world. God
Hmm.
has given us exact time. Everybody has 24 hours, right?
Hmm.
Most of us can still walk, talk, and see, can hear, can feel, right? Most of us.
Hmm.
I've actually met in OC a couple who doesn't speak. They're deaf and they cannot really speak, but they're there, you
Hmm.
know,
I know who you're talking about.
being
Yeah.
with us and investing and sharing their stories and listening and learning. No matter what your handicap is, no matter whatever you don't have right now, make use of what you already have, and don't be so jealous, that envious, that, oh, you think that it's greener on the other side of the fence. No, you can make yours green. You
Mhm.
already have that, so for me,
Yeah.
that's important, that's key.
Yeah, because a lot of people see the success that you have, but they don't really look at the journey that you've been through.
Oh
That
yeah.
you've been in the dirt, that you've been in the mud, and you pulled yourself out of there. And so that's really very important. To me, I think that, coming from the Philippines and having poor beginnings and, really like humble beginnings, I always tend to think that there's someone else having it harder than what I've been through. And that kind of like helps me. I was like, oh, but so yeah, I mean, learning your journey. I know more than the viewers have. Learning your journey, I was like, okay, whatever I went through is not really that compared to whatever someone else has been through. But again, once in your that situation, you feel like the whole world is on your shoulders. So yeah, just do the job, do what you need to do. Obviously, and one more thing for me is surround yourself with the people that you want to be with,
Yes.
and make sure that you are the dumbest person in the
In the
room.
room.
Yeah, yeah, because I always want to be the stupidest in the room, because I know I'm gonna learn tremendously with the people I'm with. And yeah, I surround myself with the people that I aspire to be, and so that has helped me. Before, I'm always like shy, because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know anything, I can't bring value. But now I know my worth, that
Yes.
even with whatever I've learned in the past. However, I've only been in sub 2 for 2 years, and I was like, oh, I've only been doing this for 2 years, blah blah blah. I know nothing, but now I know my worth, because there are a lot of things that I know that other people who has been there for longer than me, they don't even know. And
And
so I was
Celeste,
like,
I just do want to give you a shout out. You know why? And I want to tell everybody, when I met you, and I know you're already doing your thing, but when I met you, I really felt the sincerity of your heart. When we had that talk about your kids and your heart for the kids, and I shared with you my heart for the DV survivors, I originally connected with our group, actually, that these are real people who's been through a lot of pains, but we don't want to waste the pain. We want to turn it into power. We want to turn it into purpose. We want to turn our mess into a message. We want to turn the brokenness and give it to God, and God is allowing God. Let's allowing God to make a masterpiece out of whatever we went through in life.
Mhm.
And you are really beautiful inside and out. It's not
Ah,
just
thank you.
this, but really your heart. And
Thanks.
that's what drawn me closer to all of you, because you have a very welcoming heart. If you see a person who's really wanting to elevate, you look at them and say, okay, you want to do this? All right. You
Mhm.
always give people a chance. You always leave a room. You always leave an empty seat for someone. That's just who you are. Oh, I'm giving me
Oh, thank
goosebumps.
you. You're like proper me up
No,
and everything. I have long hair now, even though I
very long. No, for real. And,
yeah,
and I'm very
that's a
proud.
Filipino reference. If
Yes,
someone's giving you a lot of compliments, you kind of like have
long
long
hair.
hair. Look at it like that. So now I don't have long hair, but she's giving me long hair
Long
vibes because
hair.
of what she's telling me. And
No,
thank you. I
for
really
real.
appreciate that. I mean, um, I'm glad that that's what I'm projecting when I talk to people. And so yeah. Thank you for that. And I think it just resonates with us being in the same culture because we always want to elevate someone else, so yeah, thank you for that. Now you're making me teary
Uh,
eyed.
no, for real. I shared with you. I said when I go back to Virginia and Maryland and DC, I want to bring this home, because a lot of people here where I'm at, they do their amazing things on their own. I want to see the collaboration of people. I want to see one person teaching the other, because
Hmm.
we elevate each other. There's no more crab mentality. Kind of ika nga sabi nila, a rising tide raises all ships.
Hmm.
We cannot have the lacking mentality. We cannot have the crab mentality. We cannot have, because we serve an abundant God, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. If I pour into you, it will come back to me in one way or the other, right? Oh,
Mhm. And I think people that are like that has had history of people pulling them down, and so it's kind of hard for them to branch out because they've had that experience before. And I think with you opening up to them and really seeing the sincerity, I think it's going to open up their hearts and be like, okay, why not? Why not do it this way or another? So you'll be the light in that, in that group. And yeah, I believe that you can do that. A lot of people has I've heard a lot of I've met a lot of people that has met you, and you've enriched their lives in ways
really?
that you
Oh,
in ways that you didn't even realize, maybe, right? So we don't really know the mark that we put on people when we talk to them. So make sure that you put your best foot forward every time, because you never know what it is that you're leaving with that person. So we've talked about a lot of things. Hopefully you guys find value in what we talked about. But yeah, I just wanted to introduce you to March. So she's a realtor. If you have um, you want to buy, sell houses, you have a property that's not selling, she would probably think, or definitely will find ways for you to dispose of that property. Wholesaling too, definitely. And again, she has an advocacy for domestic violence abuse survivors. If you know of someone, make sure that you reach out to her. I'm gonna put all the info on our YouTube description down below, and so you'll be able to get in touch with her socials, all of her socials, all of the things that she's doing. You'll be able to reach out. So any last words for our viewers before we go? Again, thank you so much for being here, and I really, really appreciate you. I'm pretty sure we're gonna go into a deal one way or another, and
yes,
yeah.
I'm
Any
sure.
last words?
Last words on my favorite verse, Jeremiah 29, for God's plans for you are good, plans to bless you and not harm you, plans to give you a good future. Whatever you're going through in life, just hold on to that and remind God, He's your Father, and say, Father, you told me that I will succeed. You told me that you will do this for me. Remind him that consistently, and he will come. He will march 1,000 miles to meet you wherever you are. So just never lose hope. Walk with him like footprints in the sand on the toughest, darkest nights. It was then that he carried you. Just remember that.
Perfect, perfect. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you catch our recording in YouTube. And yeah, feel free to connect with us. Me, salsamonte.com, and Celeste Samonte. You'll find me in all your socials. And what your social handle?
March Peñalosa.
Mars Espinosa. All right, perfect. Thank you again, guys, and have a good
Facebook
one.
and Instagram. Bye. God
Bye.
bless.
Ayan.